The item that I believe most of you are interested in. So we will go immediately to item 51 on today's agenda. And if the clerk would please read that item.
Yes, under the Registrar of Voters, receive and file certified statement of votes cast for February 6, 2007, first supervisorial district vacancy election, and declare elected the person having the highest number of votes for the office of first district supervisor.
The operating of elections, the proper counting of ballots, is a basic function of any democratic government. And in our country, it is a function which falls to each and every county throughout the United States. Be it large, be it small, ballots in America are counted at the county level. And we take this responsibility as supervisors very, very seriously to make sure that votes are counted properly and every vote counts. In fact, in our country's Constitution, out of 26 constitutional amendments, 10 of them deal with elections and with the right to vote. Now, normally, this process is one which involves many volunteers, that involves the staff of the registrar, and when the registrar comes to us, it's pretty much of a cut and dried affair. In this particular election, the votes have been very close, and the counting has gone on for the last 3 weeks to replace our colleague, Supervisor Correa, who has gone on to be a state senator. We are going to hear today, first of all, from Neil Kelly, our Registrar of Voters, who will give us an official report. Then he'll be open for questions from the board. We'll also hear from our County Counsel, Ben DeMaio. At that point, anyone here is welcome to address the board, but if you do, please fill out one of these slips. It's available over on the right. Indicate that you want to speak on item 51, but do that right now so we can anticipate who wants to address the board, and all of you will have a maximum of 3 minutes. At that point, the item will be returned to the board for further questioning of staff, our county council, and any possible action that the board sees fit. This time, we'd like to introduce Neil Kelly, Registrar of Voters for the County of Orange, for your official report. Neil?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, honorable board members. Neil Kelly, Registrar of Voters. As you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, on February 6th, we conducted an election to replace the vacancy created by now Senator Correa when he left the 1st District. That election was conducted on the 6th in that district, and at 10:30 that evening, we concluded counting the majority of the ballots. The following day, on February 7th, we completed counting the late absentees and the provisional ballots and concluded the election that evening. The results of the election at that time had Nguyen, the candidate, up by 7 votes. The following Monday, I received a recount request from an attorney for Janet Nguyen, Mr. Greer, and he requested that a recount be conducted of the election. We also received a second recount request at that time from Mr. Fred Butcher. We started the recount with the absentees in Garden Grove. And we counted every absentee paper election day ballot and provisional ballot through all of the precincts, Garden Grove, Midway City, Santa Ana, and Westminster. That process concluded on Friday of last week. Yesterday, on Monday, we completed finishing the last of the challenged ballots. Those are the ballots that we sit down with representatives from both sides and look at those ballots that have been challenged, and we make a determination which way those votes should go. Once that was complete, I sat back and waited for instruction from Janet Nguyen's campaign, since they were driving the recount, what they would like to do next. Their request was that we complete the recount by finishing the electronic recount manually. That is to say, the same way we do it on election night. We would download those MDD cards and complete the tally the same way. Before allowing that to move forward, I deferred that decision to County Council. an extensive legal review was conducted, and on their advice, we moved forward and allowed the requesting party, that being Mr. Greer, the attorney for Janet Nguyen, to make a determination which way he wanted to go. He chose the recount of the electronic votes based on the legal advice that I received, and we moved forward and completed that process yesterday. The recount last evening, after proofing all the documents, had Janet Nguyen ahead by 7 votes. I recertified those documents and delivered those to your honorable board this morning. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Appreciate that report. Those of you standing over to my left, there's plenty of room over here to the right, and I'll give you an opportunity now, including some of our distinguished elected officials, Garden Grove Council member, public administrator, others. You're welcome to have a seat over here to my right. There is plenty of room here.
And we are going to open the planning commission room too.
Great, thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Kelly, for that report. Right now, those of my colleagues that have questions for Neil, now is the time. John, did you?
I'd like to hear from the public first, and then I'll ask Mr. Kelly some questions.
Okay. All right.